Greetings, Spaceketeers! Welcome back to part 2 of our single-serving tabletop adventure from Queen's Court Games. I'm Clara, and tonight I'll be your game master on this space western pirate adventure for Starscape, a found family science fiction game by Golden Lasso Games. Remember, if that sounds like something you'd be into, you can check out Starscape over on Kickstarter, where you can learn more about its unique relationship mechanics and pledge your support. Type !game into chat, or check the show notes for a link. But before we get back to the adventure, I should introduce our cast. Playing our nebulous Nepter, it's Danny of Danny's Corner.
That's me. Hello.
Next, our she-sister from the stars, it's playing Banshee. It's our favorite sci-fi author, Riley.
Yeah, that's me. I'm that one.
Side-eyeing us with all 4 eyes, it's Olokun, played by Garrett.
And that is me.
And finally, our verdigreed feline, playing Bernard Shelley and hanging out with us from Happy Jacks RPG, it's Artem.
Hey, that's me!
!cast will give you all the ways you can follow our cast members, social media accounts, and projects, and I know they'd love it if you give them a little follow. Also, please take a moment to note the episode's content warnings. Find them with !safety in chat, or in the episode description wherever you're catching us after. Now, if we're ready to get back into the action, let me tell you a story. When last we left off, the crew of the Narwhal found themselves being chased by other spacers for reasons that were a mystery to the entire crew until, after shaking off their pursuers with an experimental speed boost, it was revealed that their cephalopod captain had gotten Banshee to steal a pair of random crates as a method of punitive justice for some rude spacers. Now, in an unfamiliar part of frontier space, the Iris Belt, an asteroid belt laden with sparkling iridescent minerals, the crew lands on one of the many port towns, where Olokun and Banshee barter their ill-gotten goods. Following some whispers of familiarity, Bernard and Nepter make their way to a tavern. As the crew comes together at said tavern, they discover a piece of junkyard scrap picked up by Banshee and Olokun was secretly a beacon for the lost ship of Darryl Dale, a legendary con artist who stole hundreds of credits across the belt before disappearing. The beacon, having done its job, causes all of the spacers in the area to go into a frenzy as they race to their ships to be the first to get the treasure of the Iris Belt. You guys run out of the tavern. It is chaos outside as everyone seems to have dropped what they are doing. Noodle stands and other food stalls and people who are bartering like little crafted wares are just trying to get out of the way as spacers of all kinds have started making their way to their dinghies to try to get back to their moorings. And you are caught up in this. It is frantic. People are jostling and bumping you around. You are going to need to try to get to your dinghy, I suppose. So I would love... Is there anything that anyone wants to do to try to make that smoother?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I have my kinetic staff that I use. Like it's my melee weapon, and it's like designed to kind of like reverse people's energy back at them when I'm fighting them. So I think I'm gonna kind of like take the lead here, and I'm gonna like pull my staff and kind of have it in front of me, and I'm just gonna like try to like steamroll through the crowd of like knocking people out of the way. Like hey, I'm short, so I have a pretty good like. For the average bipedal being, I have a pretty good vantage point for the backs of their knees. So I'm doing a lot of like hitting the backs, pulling it in front of their knees, tripping them or whatever. So I'm just doing whatever I need to do to like clear the way of people who might be a threat to my crew getting on our ship and getting out there. So I'm kind of like, make way for the team, the Narwhal is coming, and you are in our way. You are in our way. You are blocking our path. Move, post haste.
Amazing. As you're doing that, I'll have you roll a body to see how well you can part the crowd.
Okay.
Can I be able to help?
Yeah. How are you helping though?
I heard Banshee is carrying me, so I like to imagine I'm sort of on her back probably at this point. So I think I like to help with like whenever someone is like maybe tripped up a little bit but doesn't fully move out of the way, I think I like to imagine I like reach forward and just like bat them to the side.
You literally use got your back.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing. Okay. You will spend the one trust, and you've already described what you're going to do, so roll your d6.
I'm gonna take back what I was saying then. Instead of me shouting "make way" and stuff like that, I'm saying things like, "Ha! Yes, young Neptar. See, you swing for the back of the muscle here, and it takes them down." So every time I make a hit, I'm like teaching them like a thing that is useful here. Like,
Right on.
this one seems to have a limp, so I know I can hit them here, and they'll go down faster.
My God, Graham, I love it. An 8. A 1d6? A 5. Banshee, what'd you get?
Oh, sorry, I was waiting for the roll. I didn't know if I needed to wait or not. Okay.
So Neptar's roll will replace your lowest die.
Okay, cool. My lowest die was a 2. My highest was a 6, so that would be 11.
So it's 11. Great, amazing. You do. I was talking to Kimmy about this between sessions, and I was like, I'm trying to get them to do things, and they keep succeeding. It's fine. Honestly, amazing. As you're swinging, you get the trust. Danny, you get your trust back, and you actually earn another. I think, yeah, you earn another trust on top of that because you bumped them up from what would have been a 7 to a 7 to an 11. Jeez.
Yeah, hot dog.
Anyway. So yeah, the two of you, two crew members, 4 arms, one staff swinging wildly between all of these people. You've cleared out a pretty good parting of the crowd as you all make your way towards the docks. As you start to approach, you're starting to notice that people seem to not care whose dinghy they're grabbing. There are people left and right, and like arguing over the dinghies that are tied at this mooring, that are trying to get to the mooring. And as you start making as you get towards your little, I described it as a golf cart, I think, with a forklift attached to the back.
Yeah.
You actually see Banshee. You see another she, making her way towards your dinghy.
Pardon, that is our vessel.
The she turns around and looks at you. It's
Sealy. It's Sealy.
Sorry, Sealy. What? Wow, Clara fails. The Sealy turns around and sees you and is just. And there's a moment, and she has almost the same kind of staff you do, Sealy make, and she goes, I'm sorry, but I need this for my crew. And she swings and she looks at you and goes, Banshee. This Sealy is similar height, but her braids, she has sort of box braids that go all the way to her feet that have little silver beads throughout them. And you recognize the sound of the clicking silver beads because they jingle a little bit as well. This is Scylla, someone you knew from your home planet, actually, who was kind of in your, you grew up with her. And now she's standing in front of you, staff out. There's a small crew with her, a small, a tortoise-looking fellow, a robot who is made of mostly squares except for a single wheel, and on that robot's shoulder is a small gecko-looking creature that licks its eye as you guys square off.
Ah, my old sparring partner. It is good to see you again. However, I do need our skiff. My crew does require it, and it does belong to us.
Well, another crew has already made off with our skiff. We unfortunately also will need to borrow one. Could I pay you for it?
If you let us take it to our ship, you can use it to get to your ship. Does that sound right to my team? I look at my team, realizing like I'm not in charge of the decision, and I'm like making it. But like,
I like to. I've kind of slinked through the crowds as well, and at this point, I've come up to Banshee, and I've like raised myself up on my hind paws, and I whisper to Banshee, "Oh, Banshee, shall I pounce?"
She would certainly destroy you. I mean,
Well,
she wouldn't kill you, but she would definitely hurt you quite a bit.
Yes, I'm not the one who kills people.
Bernard, I hear that and go, curious. Well, I really did get caught up on the heat of the moment. Everyone running, you swinging, that was pretty impressive. I look at the rest of the crew. I suppose if you can trust them, I think we can take them to our ship.
I just had my honor. I mean, I know seeing red is a crewmate thing and not an enemy thing. However, like when she says that to me about I'm not the one who kills people, like my body language completely changes, and I like gently put Nestor down, and then I like pull I have my staff out already, but I tap it on the ground because like now this is like I have been threatened, I have been like insulted, and like I demand satisfaction kind of thing.
Yeah, Scylla takes her staff and spins it in her fingers and also gets ready to gets into a ready stance. I will always fight you for it.
And I think I like look at Bernard because you were like right there, and I think I like maybe like quickly like my eyes dart to the skiff, like I'm giving, like, you have a chance to grab it while I'm doing this, but I'm doing this. So do what you're gonna do. You guys can do what you want to do, but this is my moment right now. So, yeah.
Bernard salutes you with a paw, and I'm going to make a move to see if maybe I can slink around to the skiff to stealthily get it for us.
As this is all happening, are there any other skiffs close by that aren't being used, or maybe only have one or two people rather than a full crew?
There are definitely skiffs nearby. There's one that is a bit of a run down, a couple yards down. Like you would have to run a bit. And again, people are hopping onto stuff as you do this. There's one that's a sprint away, and there's one nearby that has another crew that's struggling with their like ropes. But they seem to not have Seely, who is going to fight you for it. So yeah, you have other options to like commandeer another skiff, but as this crew seems to be trying to do with you.
Gotcha. I want to put my hand on Banshee's shoulder, knowing why she is seeing red at the moment, and just say, can I convince you to hold off for the moment?
I think we have to roll for this to see what happens here, because I currently have the condition of reckless as one of my starting conditions for the game, and guilty, and so both of my two conditions were just hit. And like, even though I know like I'm not talking to a crewmate, I feel like somebody from my past is as close enough to a crewmate as I can probably get, besides it being one of y'all. So like I'm immediately in like confront mode right now. So I don't know, what should we roll? Like, what's the best move for this? I
would suggest using a trust me, as this feels very much like Olakun is trying to say, trust me, like we'll get this done later. So that's where I would lean for that. I know that this is a bit of a unique situation because I just sort of want to put some pressure on y'all.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, let's do the
Love the drama.
Yeah, I love this.
So if it's a trust me, would I roll 2d6?
Yes. So you pitch the idea, drop it, and you'll roll 2d6. You can spend trust to get a +1. You can spend trust equal to a +1. So 1 for 1 there.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me make my roll. Okay. I will spend a trust because I rolled a 6. So I would like that to be 7, but I am now suspected. I only have 1 trust left.
What do you say to Banshee?
So I say, can I convince you to hold off on this? And I look at what was the other one's name? Scylla. I look at Scylla and be like, you're willing to pay. Fighting right now will just make us both late. Let us take it to our ship first, and you can take it to yours.
Yeah, the Scylla looks at you and looks at Banshee, and she considers it. She looks back at her crew. Does it seem amenable to you all? And the crew, who does not look like they wanted to fight you, nods. It seems very much like maybe Scylla has been is a little rocky, a little less trusted amongst her friends. Very well. We will all pile in together. I think your your reputation amongst the crew goes down a little bit, Olokun, as all. How many did I say? Like all 8 of you try to cram into this tiny skiff, which is not quite made for more than what you've got. As it puts back to, and you're taking it back to your ship first.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. Cheek to jowl, all of you.
It's so cramped. Bernard keeps doing that thing where I get up and I keep kind of turning around and recurling myself, and I can't seem to get comfortable. I stretch, I gyrate. Nothing's working.
Yep. The reptilian gecko thing that on the others with the other crew is clearly not worried about taking up space. He's just sitting on someone's head. Has not broken eye contact with Nepter, and is just staring and licks an eyeball and continues to stare. But yeah, you make it you make it back to the ship. They're taking the dinghy.
Yeah, so as we are getting off of our ship, I would like to slyly drop a little something in the back. It's a little orb. I want to try to sneakily just drop it to leave it there. And what this will do is, once they're a little ways away, it'll go, and it's just enough to damage one of the. I'm imagining with this dinghy, there's probably like a few, not engines, but exhaust ports. So it's just enough to damage just one of them, not to blow it up, not to hurt anybody, but just to slow them down a lot.
All right. It took you guys a little bit longer than it usually would to get back because of the wait. But yeah, why don't you? What is the stat for? I would say body again, or
I do have stealth.
You have stealth?
Yeah.
Heck yeah! All right. Do me a favor. Roll body anyway. Add a bonus for. Give yourself a 2 bonus for stealth. I think because you are using one of your abilities, one of your background abilities.
Cool.
Offer like a thing for flavor is that it's not like an explodey thing, but you know those things that's like rapidly expanding foam?
Yes.
Yes.
I like that. I will take that because that is definitely even more non-lethal. I'd feel a little better about it.
I really appreciate the non-lethality.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6 and a 4, so plus 2, that will make 12.
Yeah. And so as the dinghy, you drop this little expanding foam bomb. It fills up one of the exhaust pipes, and as the dinghy starts to putt away to head to the next ship, it starts turning as if because it only has the one engine to rotate. So it starts moving in circles. And Banshee, you see Scylla look at the ship and look at you, and it's too far away now. And start, what have you done? What is this? And is truly like, what color do Sealy turn when they're like blushing, like when they get upset.
I imagine it's like almost like a darker blue, like ice, like like when like an icy creature would do that, like it's that kind of thing. Yeah.
She goes from like a tropical aquamarine color to like you see her in real time. Honestly, she used to do this all the time. Just turn this dark like flush royal blue as she shakes her rapidly shrinking fist. And she, as the crew is basically left to spin their wheels, almost literally.
I turn to Banshee and I say, I know it's not a fight, but I hope that was good enough.
I think just to resolve the seeing red, because I'm supposed to confront somebody, I think I'm going to confront you with this. But I did notice, by the way, with the trust me roll, because the other two supported and followed your lead, I think you get trust for that, right?
You,
I think
you should, yes, especially because you did well.
should. Yeah, I think you probably get trust for both Nepter and Bernard Shelley. Whereas, like, I'm going to use my confront with you, because, like, I'm still seething about this encounter, and then also now the fact that, like, you have, like, now made me, like, a coward by, like proxy in a way, which definitely hits my seeing red. So I think that I like take my staff and I hold it out like kind of like I'm not doing the full on like choking against the wall thing. I'm not threatening you physically. I'm just using it like for emphasis. And I look at you and I go, you do not take my prowess away from me again. Are we understood?
Understood.
That was my honor to reclaim, and you just ripped it from me.
When you confront a roommate, you tell them you've wronged them, and then you two decide together, really, like, is it... Olakun, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So Olakun definitely understood, but not at the expense of the crew.
Okay, that's fair. I think I'm going to say, so I have to tell you what I want you to do to make it right, and you have to find a way to get me my honor back.
Very well.
Cool. So I think that... would you call that a consensus, or do you think that?
I think it's enough of like we're not buddy, but I think we're both like, okay, like I hear what you're saying. I said my piece. We'll move on. We got bigger things.
Okay, so you take a condition, but you get a trust back, whereas I earn a trust and I also clear a condition. So I'll clear reckless because that kind of makes sense that you were like. Not at the expense of the crew. So it feels like, yeah, I'm reminding myself, like, oh yeah, there's people who rely on me, and if I do things that are out of whack, then I can hurt them.
Cool. And then I guess I will take guilty, because I know, like, we're both warriors. I knew that it would have been bad, but I also know that that's not within our cultures. That's not cool. So I'll take a little bit of guilt.
Yes, you make it back onto the Narwhal. As you do, you can, as you get within range, you hear Flaming Jenny's voice, psychically reaching out to all of you. What's happening? What's going on?
A quest!
What's a quest?
I don't know. Someone shouted it out at the port. I thought it made sense.
Oh, should we? There are a lot of ships launching. Is something wrong?
I look at the smart ones.
No, Captain. On the contrary, it appears there is a and then Bernard realizes that I was very deep in reverie, kind of in the bar, and I realized, well, this seems to be a very exciting opportunity, Captain. The details of which elude me now, but it's certainly exciting. It's got all these ships excited. And then I look at Nepter and Olokun. What's everyone excited about again?
Chance for a big score.
Say it again, Nectar?
I said, when did we get back on the ship?
Yeah, that's right. You were.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot you're still a little...
I'm coming down from it, but I feel like they're...
It's certainly coming. You're certainly coming down.
Sounds like Oloku needs to be the one to explain this.
Yeah. You hear... You feel more than hear psychically just a big psychic cephalopod eye on you go, what do you mean a big score?
Yeah, we found a beacon. Apparently, some scam artists scammed a whole bunch of people and hid it somewhere, and we got a chance to find it. But we got to go. Everyone saw it. Everyone heard it.
How big are we talking?
Big. People weren't happy about it, so they were a little sketchy on the details. But it seems like he might have scammed a lot of people.
You hear the sound, in all of your minds, you hear the sound of a bobblehead crashing very slowly as it is thrown. Well, we gotta go! And as you make your way back into the ship, who's flying, by the way?
I think Bernard, pounces over to the controls. Zig, Zag, summons the little kittens. All right, we're gonna need to do double duty here. We've got a little situation. Nepter is feeling a lot of things, but is mostly feeling out of it. So we'll just take over for a bit. So let's gas it, crew.
All right, both Zig and Zag salute you and run to the stations. There are books that have been tied up so that they can use them as pedals, because their feet don't reach the foot controls. Otherwise, there are now foot controls for the ship. And yeah, you guys start to launch. Flame and Jenny has made her way to the tank that is closest to the pilot's console as well. So yeah, you all, because you added a little extra weight to your skiff, you're not the first to get out. You're not. You're more in the middle back of the pack. Launching from your mooring is a bit tricky, as the space is occupied. Space is known for being very empty and open and wide. Not here, not today. You are in the middle of an asteroid belt, and a lot of people want to go where you're going. This is going to be kind of a ship combat, kind of another chase, as you all start heading out. Is there a way you want to fly out of here? Defensively, offensively, cleverly?
It's bad for me, but I think cleverly. I think like trick of the ship moves. I feel like that's our best move, is to maneuver in ways that the other people can't, so that we can get ahead of them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I second that. I'm also into a tricky maneuver.
Why do we not simply just chuck more asteroids at the other ships?
Fascinating proposition. I'm not sure how we would chuck asteroids per se, but perhaps we can do a feint maneuver and try to trick the other ships into thinking we're going to crash into them at the last moment.
Ah, because we've passed out. I understand this, yes.
Yes. That's right. And perhaps at the last moment we do a good old-fashioned, as I call it, a belly roll, and we tumble around, and then we pull a good old donut curl, and then we just whisk away. Is that all? What do you think?
Little game of chicken. I like it.
I do not wish to be cowards in this scenario.
It's more of a proving you're not a coward.
Then I like this quite a bit. Okay.
Yes, it's a headstrong maneuver. That's right.
The head is very tough.
So the plan is to trick everyone into thinking you're going to barrel into them.
Yes.
and enough to stall them so that you can pull away again. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, maybe we try to trick them. We're gonna crash into them. They all try to scurry out of the way, and we get close enough where we need to do a little tricky maneuver so we don't actually crash into them. By having scared them, though, we've made a little opening. You know.
We're almost like making them divert from their own courses so that we can go straight through. That kind of makes sense.
It's like
Out of
that
character.
jerk on the highway when you're driving who like starts to lean into your lane, and then if they go a little too far, then you start scurrying. It's kind of like that.
And so as you guys start gearing up, Zig and Zag are at the consoles, ready to take over Nepter's usual position. Bernard, are you flying Are you actually flying?
Yeah, I'm flying and pressing buttons and flying.
Amazing.
I have an idea for what Neptune would do. We have just as a reminder, but the ship has a tail, right? There's like a right. So I think what I caught of that was divert and crashing into people, but not. And so I got sort of the idea, and I think I will go to whatever part of the ship has maybe a mechanism that can control the tail specifically. And I like to picture it as like a oh goodness, I don't know what they're called, but it's like when you like pull like sort of like the mast of the ship, and it's like those big sail things, and it's like you have to pull it, or like, oh god, I don't know what.
And you want to like swing the jib around, but it's the whale tail.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to imagine it as one of those things where it's almost like a rope, and like I'm just like pulling it at different directions. So my goal in this is sort of to be like a assurance to that this succeeds, in that once the maneuver is sort of over and we're past them a little, just as we're moving by, so that they don't try to like immediately overtake us, I will pull the tail to make it seem like the tail will now almost crash into them, and sort of fully make them have to be like, oh no, we have to turn right now. And that is my maneuver, is swinging on a rope and moving a tail.
I think I'm going to say, one of the most important parts of combat is the combat of the mind. You have to psych out your opponent before the battle begins, and you may be victorious before a single blow is swung. And with that, I go to, like, the comms, and I, like, do, like, a scatter, like kind of like a all frequencies broadcast, basically. And it's just, like rock music. It's almost like the sabotage scene in Star Trek Beyond, or like the Pirates of the Caribbean thing in For All Mankind. Like I just like blast like a Flight of the Valkyries type thing that like makes us seem like we're intense and we're like loaded for bear and we're like plowing through.
I feel like Sealy Rock is perfect for that.
It's probably like very much like Norwegian death metal. Like it very much has that kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Scandinavian death metal. Yeah.
To build off that with, what's a rock show without good pyrotechnics? So I would like to just make a couple little, I need to find a better word for bombs, but what these will do is basically just as they like go out the exhaust, they're kind of go off in almost like a firework type scenario. So we're not just getting a vehicle, a huge ship looking like it's about to crash into something. We're not just getting blasting music, but we're also getting like little explosions that will, even not quite blind, but like, distract and make people turn away. So it's even a much bigger thing to avoid in this case.
I love this so much. I love and we're going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. All of this is amazing. If everyone could roll their savvy.
Olokun rolled a 1 and a 6. So 7.
Bernard Shelley rolled a 12.
I got a 7.
Oof, okay.
About a 4.
Wow.
Oh,
Hey, there we go.
well,
Finally, something under 6.
well. 2 things happen at once. Bernard, with a 12, you all certainly succeed. However, everyone mark XP for succeeding. Your opponents fall for it, but kind of they fall for it because it actually happens. The plan was to juke the enemy and then it sort of swing the tail in and throw some bombs out, make it be a problem, and you certainly are. Olokun, some of those fireworks just sort of hit us. The ship, the catch on the ship. The tail does swing. It does catch some folk. It is truly peak, like, I did not realize that I had swung. I meant to only pretend to hit you, as some small, like a dinghy and a smaller ship than yours do kind of catch the tail and go careening in another direction. They actually hit a couple other dinghies and other ships, so there's a bit of a multi-ship pileup happening in a corner.
I love it.
You have, however, cleared the way, and you can now take off. Everyone, the ships that are still in the vicinity are just trying to get around what is essentially a 6-car pileup.
I'm picturing the thing in Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure where he like bumps the bike and all the bikes go crashing over.
Exactly what I was imagining.
That really is it. Goodness. There are 6 systems for the ship. They each have 4 damage boxes each. You'll take 2 hits. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna say, because this was the tail, which is kind of your primary weapon. You'll take some weapons damage, and we'll take some propulsion damage. The ship is okay. You should not let it take more damage in those areas.
Yeah. So you said propulsion, and what was the other one?
1 damage to propulsion and 1 damage to weapons.
Got it.
But yes, you are clear. And Bernard, the zig and zag, get the take the hint, and you punch it, Chewie. Everyone goes careening forward.
Yikes! I think Bernard is just I'm frantically smashing buttons and turning the wheel, trying to correct ourselves, and I'm just shouting things to Zig and Zag. Quick, unclog the dorsal chamber. We need a higher amount of thermal pressure. The buildup is out of control. Zag, boost it. The thermals, the actuator, everything is out of whack. We need more. We need a serious neutrino surge. Do it, Zach. Do it now. We're just pressing buttons and it's just absolutely talking techno wildness. And if I could sweat, I would be sweating. So I think I'm just gently shedding a little bit of the green fur.
Zig and Zag are fully puffed out, just terrified. So it's more like tribbles, 2 small green tribbles working the nav. So yes, the narwhal takes off. Jenny is smooshed in the back of her littler tank as they watch as they are the G's, I guess, underwater hit them. And you head out. The way is still clogged. And as you as you race forward, is there anything you want to do to give yourselves a boost as you go?
I would like to try my jerry rig, which is you aren't an expert, but you have picked up some tricks with ship technology. You try to repair or modify the ship. Roll plus brains. So I would like to do that.
It sounds like a thing you might need to do.
Okay. 5, 3, 8 plus 1, 9. So 7 to 9. You had to break something else on the ship to make a quick repair. So move up to 2 ship damage to other ship systems.
What do you break and where do you move it to?
So I am going to. I'm gonna break communications
Okay.
to try to fix our propulsion.
All right.
So I am going to reverse the polarity of the external electrical system from the communications back to propulsion. That should get us back up to full speed.
Amazing. With a 9 mixed success, so yeah, it works. What do you pull from communications to make that
I feel like I
happen?
just pull like the wires, just like where communication is. I hit it to make the panel flap down. I just pull some of the wires out and I start like twisting some of them and making sparks connecting them. Just that. That's all I'm doing. It's just fucking with the wires.
I love it. It's like, I need these. Pull out the wires.
Yeah.
Immediately in the ship, the music that Banshee had sent out to everyone else just fills the ship for a moment, and just whum whum whum, and just Seely screaming, and
Banshee's just like, yeah! Like
bagpipes going.
Bernard's like, what's going on? What's happening? Because I'm seeing all these panels and they're, things are dropping and coming up and the readings are going all over the place. I think we're in the clear. What's it? And I'm trying to hit the communications. Hello? Who's back there? Nepter? Nepter, are you doing that? Oh, we can... That was cool. We can stop it now. I think turn down the volume.
I'm stuck in the weapons rope. Hold on.
The music is a little quieter, but yeah, you look over and Zig is still a little puffball navigating, and Zag is just going for it. Zag is enjoying themselves greatly. You get that increased speed boost. You are back at your top speed again. Next, you can see other ships from port kind of neck and neck with you. The beacon has, like I said, the beacon did its job. The coordinates are programmed into it, into your navs. It's giving you kind of a straight line there, which means anything in the way is going to be in the way. As you guys continue, you see another ship kind of swinging in closer to you, and a hatch opens from the back of it. This one looks kind of like a brass plant. This ship looks a little like a brass Planet Express. But on the side is a really rad spray painted mural of what you think is what feels like maybe someone's Space and Spacers character with a big glowing orb kind of posed, and there is a wyvern hurled around the back of it in this mural. But and from the back of this ship, a hatch opens, and a just cascade of junk, people's clothing, frozen water, like misty water, crates, freeze-dried egg substitute, comes spilling out of this thing, out of this ship. It seems that they are trying to make you to make it harder for you to navigate forward, forcing you to dodge them.
Nepter, who I'm still I like to imagine once the ship took off, I got stuck in the rope that I was using to pull the sound, still trying to unwind my arm. But I think I see from maybe a little window or something that we're being purposefully attacked or purposely targeted, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not cool. They're throwing garbage at us. Can we hit it back?
As soon as we hit it back, I think I'm like, yes! And, I think I immediately rush over. I'm not gonna do it until we decide as a group, but I think a Banshee rushes over to the weapons, and I'm just give me the signal that I can do this, and I will be glad to do it. Yeah.
I lean in and I go, well, what garbage do we have that we can toss at them? Is this is that what we're doing?
We sold the captain's garbage to a man on the planet.
You have half a box of garbage left, actually.
Ah, good old-fashioned garbage fight. Interesting.
I was thinking we do like a 360 and we just like hit it back at them. Like we throw their own garbage back at them.
Ooh, perhaps we use our tail as a bit of a racket to just whoosh,
That's
send
what
them.
I was thinking. I just really want to use the tail again. I worked hard on that.
Well, works for me. My garbage is garbage, sure.
I think I'm also running over to where the like spacesuits and grav boots are and getting my staff. So I want to go out on the ship while we're doing the tail so I can get the other pieces that the tail's too big to hit. And like I just want to like Twilight baseball scene, be like swinging my bat to knock the trash back to the other ship.
That's so funny. My brain went Teen Wolf, Teen Wolf.
That also too, yeah.
Oh my goodness! Hell yes. What would you argue this ship move is? Fight, fly.
Oh, it's fight.
Definitely fight.
It's fight. It's fight.
Actually, as I see Banshee doing this, I think I'm putting two and two together that the explosions that were happening were part of some kind of a gizmo that maybe was created by one of our teammates. And I look at Olokun and I go, Olokun, perhaps there's something you could create, evoke, summon from your repertoire to give Banshee a little bit of an advantage out there on the port side.
Olokun, I take it like a deep puff of my stogie, just thinking, like, what can I do? I'd be like, you know what? I don't know if this will help, but it will look cool. And I'm going to take some of the meteorite that I picked up when we were in the port. I'm going to mix it with a couple chemicals, kind of dissolve it. I'm going to slather it on the spacesuit that Banshee's going to wear. And what it's going to do is it's going to, once you get into space, it's going to evaporate. And it's going to evaporate in those same colors that the asteroids were having. So as you go, just going to have like a streak of like iridescent rainbow colors behind you.
Oh, I like that.
Just, oh my god, just a fearful disco suit as you stand there with your staff getting ready to just, oh my god, I love this so
ABBA Space Warrior. Here we go.
This is exactly what I asked for. I love this. Everyone let's roll our next ship move. I feel like we've earned the fight on this.
I have a question. Technically, I had this warrior's move where if I use my melee weapon, I get to add a +1 to forces necessary rolls. Would this count for this by chance?
Because you specifically are spacewalking this, I actually think I will allow it.
Okay.
Also, it's rad as hell.
Okay. Okay, then it's a 7. Because it would have been a 6. And so I was like, let me know for sure how this feels.
Alright, Neptune, what'd you get?
Last time I got like a minus and a plus to my stats because of the thing I drank. Would that have passed by now?
That is passed by now.
Okay, then I got an 8.
Okay. Bernard?
Bernard is trying to help so much, and it's just a little, I think, overworked, and rolled a 5 here.
Oh no. Okay.
All right.
I rolled a 12, so whatever happens, Banshee, you're gonna look damn good doing it.
You're gonna look so cool.
Wild. These rolls are wild. Okay. With a 12, hell the fuck yes, you do. Oh my god, it's so fucking cool. Banshee, can you please describe going at what you do in this moment and how fucking cool you look?
Oh, it definitely is like a scene that if it was being filmed would like speed up and slow down, like a Deadpool fight scene, basically. Like it's very much me, like flipping around, and like if there's like a piece of garbage that's like a little bit too far from me, I like do like a flip in the air, like one magnet boot still on the ground, one released. I flip down, and then like my staff goes out and like bangs it around. There's one like gets knocked towards me, and then I swing it back around and like you know like when you see people like do like trick shots with like a hockey stick. I couldn't think of the word stick. I was like, there's a name for that, right? Is it a club? Is it a staff? A hockey stick and a puck. But like when someone like will bounce the puck off the stick and then knock it in the air, like I do like a lot of that kind of stuff. It's almost like when you see someone doing like trick stuff with like ice skates, but somehow it's like gravity boots. And yeah, and it's like, and that music is still blasting, so I'm just like jamming out to it, and it's just the best.
It's beautiful, and truly showing off your pride as just it's almost a pyro suit of rainbow glitter. Nepter, you tangled up, even you tangled up in the rigging for the tail. The tail does take a little bit of damage, unfortunately. Just, some things get through. Banshee is one banshee. Banshee is one person on the edge, on the front, and that tail has seen better days, and it's really hard to work its pulley.
I would like to get the energy. It's like Neptune is like holding one rope and then running to one end of the ship, and then like having that pull it, and then like running all the way back, grabbing the other one, pulling that one by running all the way. It's that energy, so it makes sense that the tail is not okay with it.
You take a couple. The ship takes another hit. I will hit propulsion again because it is the tail, but. The rest, the other two of you crawled over that. We crawled over it. So one hit. Banshee, you're living your best life. Olakun, honestly, if you ever want to stop being a spacefarer, a spacer, you probably have a special effects or costume design job in your future.
It's a side hustle.
The knockoff Planet Express, Steampunk Planet Express, in front of you was not ready for the just rainbow of menace that is Banshee and the Narwhal. As all of that junk that goes flying at you, you kind of drift around and smack the tail back, and it's like and just a wave of not just the garbage that was thrown at you, but also just the stuff that hangs out in space goes cresting back at the at this other ship, and they ping 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 as it like so the hatch is still open, and it breaks their like their barrier for a second, and just you see like one like crew member just ow in the forehead as they take a tiny piece of just shrapnel to the face. The whole ship is steered off course, and you were able to get ahead of them and continue speeding forward.
I like hug the horn, like the narwhal horn at the front of the ship, like the way someone would like the maidenhead, that was called the like thing at the front, like masthead, and like the way someone would do that. And then I like look back at the crew member whose head popped out of the other ship with the gravity thing, and I just do like I point to the eyes and point to them, and then I like use my staff and I like point ahead, like onward, like that kind of. I'm just thinking like those pirate, like where like someone's at the front of the ship with the sword and they're like pointing ahead of it. Like I'm just like I'm living my best life and I'm excited about it, so just like into it.
The music swells as He's a Pirate plays, and the song is like the I mean, not that song because that would be copywritten. But yes,
very similar, yeah.
Legally distinct from She's a Pirate even plays instead.
It's something like She's a Pirate and Dancing Queen somehow at the same time, and it works great.
It is the disco remix.
You are a pirate queen, yeah.
But yes, full steam ahead. The narwhal's exhaust port, the one that is its spout, streaking behind you, it kind of truly this is the future liberals want, as this rainbow your rainbow suit mixes with the exhaust from the horn, and there is just a Nyan Cat style rainbow behind the narwhal as it streaks forward.
If I may, to mirror Banshee's extremely great day, Bernard, I think in one of Banshee's fabulous hits, one of the pieces of junk was like maybe a tennis ball or something that got covered in this like rainbow glitter, and maybe one of our busted exhaust pipes like sucked it back in, and like it just happened to bounce into the cabin, and like Bernard absolutely could not control their feline instincts and is like and like on the control panel on all fours pressing buttons completely. It's just like, this is the 5 that I rolled. It's just I could not be more distracted. Zig and Zag are very, very confused by my behavior.
Olokun, Neptune, and Banshee, you're living your best life. I'm gonna let you enjoy this. But Olokun, Neptune, you do feel the ship sort of lurch as it starts to lose speed, as someone has abandoned the controls to chase the ball.
I think if that's what I felt, I would run up to the controls to see what would happen, or what happened, like why we're, losing speed. And I think seeing Banshee, Bernard, like seeing that, and seeing them playing around, be like, oh my god. And I think I would lurch towards the controls to get us back. I'm assuming like it's not just losing speed, but probably at that speed with no one actually controlling it, probably, starting to, not break up, but it would feel very dangerous to keep flying like this.
It's unideal. So, Olokun, you take the controls?
Yes.
Rad. You managed to steady the ship as you steady the ship. Like the controls the nav tells you that you're on the right track. Truly, you have pointed in the direction of the beacon and are going. Banshee. The nav could tell you, but you're standing on the front of the ship. Do you mind rolling for me Can you roll for me a brain?
I got a 4. I rolled a 5 and I have a minus. I have a -1 in brains and I rolled a 5.
Mark experience and yep. And also, do you have a condition in brains already?
I do. I have guilty. So I'm also afraid.
The prow of a ship is not an ideal place to hang out in space for a long time. And as you were relishing this moment, you realize you are still in an asteroid belt. And it is getting a little crowded. The ships that have careened into other pieces of asteroid, just a full field of debris is now in front of you. Some handy flying might be able to, but you see it ahead. You are going to either need to scramble back into the ship or face it head on, but it doesn't look great if you hang out here too long.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive back into the ship then.
That sounds smart. This is the as you climb back in, you can see and Zig and Zag look up at you, Bernard. Our navs are acting very strange. And you look down. The music is still playing and almost pulsing in time to the music. All of your it would be like radar, the little fields to let you see what is coming without visually seeing it. They're getting interference because of the iris belt. It's bouncing. All of the minerals are starting to bounce signals back and forth.
I look at the rainbow colored tennis ball in my paws and say, "I will have words with you later." I'll put it down. Zigzag, remember? Wait, and Alokun, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm the one driving.
Oh, okay. So I saunter over. What's the status report, Alokun?
I don't know. Are you done playing with your little ball?
What? um.
Take a puff.
Excuse me. It was a high stress situation. I was a little distracted. Anyone could have been distracted. Are you trying to imply something, that I'm somebody who would just play with a toy?
There's a very long beat. It's a very pregnant beat. Just like, you said it. Anyways, and then I'll read, I'll say what's going on. I guess our navigation's acting a little wonky. The asteroid field that we're in seems to be giving a little interference.
Yes, Bernard, did someone imply treat you a little bit like a cat there?
I think Elokun did. I put a heavy green paw like across the control panels, and I look at Elokun and I say, "Well, I will let you know there are certain things that are hard for me to control about myself, but I am a fully, totally independently thinking creature that doesn't need anybody's permission to do anything. And if I'm playing with something, there was good reason for it."
Uh-huh.
It was a stressful situation. I needed to relieve stress, and that was my instinct. It was a self-preservation instinct. And in fact, it was a self-preservation instinct for everyone. Everyone on board.
Next time, just try to have that instinct when you're not driving. Fair?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be an easy thing to control when we're in such high-stress situations. There's a lot of unpredictable factors. Fine. I will try to control myself. I'll try to avoid other rainbow-colored projectiles in the future.
This feels a little... I'm just going to check in really fast. It does feel like, because we triggered seeing red, that there's going to be that you're trying to that we've confronted. Was that the aim here?
I think so. Yeah. This and I don't. It feels to me like this is the tolerable stalemate, a tenuous truce, if you will.
Yeah. I don't want to say that was the goal, but I feel like that was the natural conclusion of what.
Right.
And I do feel like nothing was fixed, but it is. Yeah, it's more of a mutual agreement of like, okay, like words were said, and we'll leave it here for now. It might get picked up later, it might not. We'll see. But
all right, mark your XP. You get some trust for clearing the air.
Great. Well, with that, Bernard gives a meaningful nod. My head tentacles are like totally rigid, and I put my attention back on the control panels.
Yes, back on the control panels. It's snowing apparently, as there's just static across all of them.
Oh, Whiskers. Zag. And I start kind of looking through just anything that I could kind of try to make heads or tails of what's happening. Oh gosh. I suppose we ought to tend to the propulsion as soon as possible. Otherwise we're gonna be dead fish in the water. Yikes.
I like to imagine that I was like about to enter the room with the controls, and then it looked like an argument was happening, so I like slowly like moved back away.
Homer Simpson into the hedge.
I wanted to help Banshee back on as she was getting on, and say with her, so, I think I read, like, it's bad to be outside during, like, big, fast movement.
During space?
Yes, it was quite bad of me, wasn't it?
So, like, next time, I think it's just, like, you gotta, when you do, like, a flip, you can like flip back inside as well.
Ah, yes, thank you. I will take this gymnastics suggestion to heart. Thank you.
After will like start making their way back to the control area, and we'll go in the door and say, "Hey, what's up, guys? It's totally my first time here. What's going on?"
Well, thank you for arriving here for the first time. We are all sorts of out of whack. I think we got to tend to the propulsion system before we really stall out. Any ideas?
The propulsion? I mean, we have a backup stabilizer. And maybe, like, that's usually used, that I was planning to use that for the tail, because then it helps it sort of stay on more of a swivel. But I think there is a way to redirect it so that we could sort of help it stabilize our propulsions for the time being.
Yes. And we stabilize it, and we click into a little bit of that isometric subspace distortion. We synchronize the primary grid. Yes, I see what you're saying.
Is that grid messed up? Why is it snow?
That's the other one on the list of and I kind of pat at the comms thing, trying to figure out how did that get all kind of out of whack with the snowy static on it. Yeah.
Nancy, did you see anything out there? Do you think someone, like, hit us with, like, a get good array and then just mess with our stuff?
Well, a lot of things came flying at us very fast, and I did a lot, but there's so much stuff out there, and it's gonna hit us really bad.
Oh.
It did hit the tail a couple of times, and that could be bad. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I'm not good with ship stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll look and fix it.
I'm no expert, but we could try to boost our. We could use the not dorsal fin. What's it called? The spout. Try to boost our navigation. Maybe get a clearer picture.
I got a pretty clear picture outside. It's coming.
I mean, yes, Banshee, yes, thank you. But more of a wider picture than our eyes could see, so we could see where we're going, past the debris coming at us. And also from in here, so we don't have to stand out there to see.
I see what you mean. Kind of try to track how. Well, because if we're, and just to clarify, Clara, we're in an asteroid field currently. Is that what it is?
Yes. The whole space. Yes, you're in an asteroid belt, and this is just a more instead of big chunks of rock that kind of can hold planet, port towns. You are more in what if we were sailing instead, think of it more like rapids or like the rocks that you would see ships crash onto. In fact, as you are discussing this, a smaller ship than yours it does a terrible job of navigating and does plow into some of the rocks ahead.
I would like to not do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Agreed.
Olokun, I think you've got a good idea there. We need to get a big picture of where we are, because if we're on the very edges of this asteroid field and we just keep heading into it, that's bad. We need to just get out of it, and
we also can't go off course, because then we'll get lost again, probably.
As you are debating, the ship lurches slightly, and you realize why that other ship just plowed into the rocks as handily as it did, as the Narwhal seems to be caught in a slight gravitational current. It travels along them anyway. This seems like there's a gravitational current that is fighting them.
Hey gang, is it just every bad thing around us right now, or?
Definitely feels like it.
Doesn't it? It does feel like lots of, as I've heard it once said, lots of L's back to back we're experiencing.
Yeah, a lot. Okay. So let's quickly recap before. Okay, I thought that rock was gonna hit us. We're fine. So there's navigations we have to deal with. Also, our sort of not sensors, our communications, so that we know where we're going. But also, there's a gravitational thing that's bad. What if we turned everything off and then back on again? So that we get off of so that we're not on any gravitational, so, we cut off our connection to any gravitational thing. We just cut it off, like we're cutting a piece of rope, but then we turn it back on. And also by doing that, maybe we can see which part of our communications and our other two problems are exactly at fault, so that we know exactly what we need to pinpoint to repair. I'm a genius.
Brilliant! Let's do just that. Bernard starts kind of looking around for the off button.
Banshee, Olakun, how do you feel about the plan? Turn it off and turn it back on again.
I'm currently very afraid of what's happening right now, and I'm also feeling dumb because, I'm not smart, and I just crashed my brain stat on top of that. So I think I'm shutting down a little bit. And so, whatever people who seem smarter than me are saying, I'm like, okay, yes, that sounds great. You are the general of brains. So go for this. Yes.
Olokun takes that all in and is like, I literally have nothing to say against that.
That's what I'm talking about.
I trust you.
I try to hail the captain real quick, and I say, Captain, just a heads up. It might go a little cold in the tank for a second, but we'll be back to our scheduled programming real soon. Over and out.
What do we program?
I still feel so nervous talking to the captain.
You feel a tentacle-y thumbs up, so it's really more like a tentacle up. As the captain makes its way back into its actual home quarters. But yes, everyone, let us roll. What is this roll?
Well, I don't think it's brains anymore. I think it might be. I feel like it's either courage or savvy. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm leaning towards courage. You got to be brave to turn everything off while moving in space.
Yeah, this feels like a courage roll.
Okay.
And I guess this is not a. Do Zig and Zag help? Can they help with this still, based on your?
Yeah, they can still give us a +1.
Right on.
Yeah.
Zig and Zag, one of them has crawled into towards Banshee and is just purring to help Banshee. One of them is also headed to one of the controls to turn things off.
I think what I'm physically doing is, because I remember it was mentioned earlier that the tail has to be pulled by ropes to readjust it. So I think knowing that the power is going to be cut off, I think that Banshee has made her way to where those ropes are, and she's using her strength to try to hold the tail in place while the power is turned off. And the other hand's petting the cat.
I will probably, because I think my point in wanting to help was focusing on let's make sure we have a system that can navigate and know when things are properly. If there's something wrong with that, I want to be able to know what's wrong with it. So I'm essentially, my focus is going to be on the navigation system specifically, so that when things turn back on, I can pinpoint the exact moment where it's working, the specific thing is not working, it's working, and so I could be like, oh, I need to fix that thing. And then I will fix that thing.
Perfect. What are our rolls?
I got a 6.
No, you get a +1.
No, I don't. Not for courage.
Not for courage. No.
I got a 9.
Well,
Yep.
Bernard just rolled a 6 as well.
Oh no!
There's a lot of buttons and a lot of lights happening. I'm trying to track all the systems that are shutting down and coming back on.
Nepter, how'd you do?
I got a 5!
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay, well,
I feel like it was more just like, oh, like had nothing to say against that plan. Not like this is a good plan, just more of just like, I can't argue that. Sure.
I feel like Olocan just was able to keep it together just barely.
Like, so, yeah, just like, you know what? I've seen worse.
Yeah, the rest of us were super overthinking it. Olakun is like kind of has like a nice objective point of view.
Olokun truly is the like bastion of calm in what is becoming a real chaotic nonsense. Yeah.
I call it a stogie, but let's just say it has a calming effect.
Listen, it's legal in space. Okay, well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you do it. The turning it off and turning it back on again, classic. It does work, kind of. The ship goes dark, and for a brief moment, it is incredibly eerie, as there's always a quiet hum of something moving at all times. It just, for the briefest moment, it hits all of you this complete silence. And then it's over. It's past. The first of the lights flicker back on. The hum of the engines of the whale's sort of internal engine starts going again. Even a little bit of bubbling from Jenny's tubes. But and yes, as things come on, the ship does exactly what it usually does when it has a forced restart. It starts from a repurposed printer sort of fax machine in the corner. A bunch of ticker tape reports start flying out as it starts to print off everything that is truly wrong with the ship. As you take the ship takes 3 more damage. I'm trying to spread it out so we don't. But at this point, it seems like every single system on the ship has something wrong with it.
Oh my god.
However, it does work. You, in turning everything off and on again, the nav clears up enough that you can kind of see where you are. And also, y'all were still moving forward. So a little bit just by act of just fate, you have managed to skirt most of the damage. Anything else is a little superficial. You do take a little bit as things ping off of it. And you've successfully moved forward in a straight line from Pious Andronicus to now, as ahead of you, the nav that has started up has shown that you are here. That was what that secondary gravitational pull was. It wasn't the pull of another gravitational current specifically, but the orbit of a small, I'm going to say small planetary object. I cannot remember what we call Pluto now. In my heart, Pluto is still a planet. Yes, a dwarf planet, as it is. But it is below you now. It seems to have been hidden just on the other side of the iris belt. And small enough you could have mistaked it for another asteroid. Below, the ship has slowed down again, and is starting to ease into this thing's orbit. And Bernard, you're hit again with this wave of memory. Something about it as you look down feels familiar. You have seen this exact moment before, and something grips you in your heart as you feel suddenly it feels like your place on this ship is tenuous, like someone might kick you out at any moment. And then that feeling passes. Just that irrational fear a little bit, like someone's gonna throw me out. And yeah, you all look down at this. The nav system doesn't have a name for this place. You have arrived. In the distance, you can see other spacers starting to come out of jumps or coasting to a stop in the same around the planet as well. And also, this is where we're going to take our break. So, everyone, get up, stretch your legs, refill your drinks, and we will see you shortly. And welcome back. I hope you had a good break. We have used this time to check in and make sure that everyone is feeling still good about having in-character conflict and making sure it stays in character. That's for me. I'm a sensitive being, and watching my friends fight makes me sad. Where we last left off, you had a harrowing journey as you fought other ships and space debris, and so much space debris, Clara, come on, that as you made your way to this dwarf planet that the beacon has called you to, and just as you were gazing down at it, Bernard had a flash of memory, a little bit of insecurity of his place within the crew, perhaps, as you look down at this this little green thing, this little green planet.
I ever so gently and very, very slyly paw the little rainbow tennis ball into like a hidden nook, like almost out of like a kind of an insecurity. Necessity is like a little comfort moment, but try to avoid anybody noticing that I just pawed it.
I would like to not notice that. I'd like to notice that. I want to do a connect roll with Bernard, if that's okay. I'm gonna come up to you. I have a feature. I was looking at ship things, and now I'm back to character. I have a move that's called 1,000-yard stare. So there's a bit of a boost if I do a connect with you. But I'm gonna put my hand on your shoulder in a comforting way, and I'm going to go, Bernard Shelley, one of the greatest competitors and opponents that one can face is one's own mind. If you are doing battle with your own brain, it is a worthy opponent, and you are a tough fighter for facing it. But I believe you can emerge victorious.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Well, I couldn't imagine what inspired you to say that at this moment.
Oh, well, I heard you shouting with our friend earlier, and you said sometimes my instincts or something to the effect of I can't control myself at times, and I want you to know that you're doing a great job of trying to control yourself, and it's admirable. And you seem anxious now, and I believe that you can calm, and you have done many good things to keep this ship safe and to keep this crew safe, and I believe in you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That really means a lot. It's strange, Banshee. I have these moments where I feel like I've experienced something before. I feel a little bit not myself, almost outside of my body. I sometimes feel like I can do things or try doing things, but I don't know where the confidence to do those things comes from. It almost doesn't feel like it's my own, like it's someone else's. Gosh, oh, Whiskers, I wish I could had a better way to explain that, but it just feels like sometimes I'm pretending to be me, but it's just me, I guess.
Ah, yes, many times on the battlefield, one will lose track of one's conscious thoughts and slip into what we call like an instinctual form of fighting. And it is indeed strange because many people believe that they don't have their own skills and their own prowess because they're not conscious of their activities. But is it not one's own skill and prowess that takes over and allows them to compete at the top of their game? You say that it is not you. It is a voice outside of you. But perhaps in those moments, it is not that you are an imposter. It is more that your own intelligence is allowing you to get out of your own way and do what needs to be done in that moment. And in fact, the fact that you are able to do that shows that you indeed have great skill and intelligence yourself.
Bernard, Bernard leans in. I lean in a little bit closer, and I kind of whisper it in response, but not realizing that I'm speaking out loud. And I say to myself, yes, maybe I'm the original. I really appreciate what you're saying. For the fear of sounding very strange, may I ask you a personal question? I appreciate you being vulnerable with me, and I wonder if you wouldn't mind allowing me to ask a vulnerable question of you.
I will accept this question indeed. My own anxiety is a enemy that must be defeated, so you are giving me a chance to do that.
Bernard I look around to see that there's no one near us, and I kind of try to stretch upward so I'm as close as I am to you. Oh, right, but you were kind of equal height, I suppose. And I say, what is your experience with dying?
Well, I have not done it personally, and it is a condition that my people tend to frown upon, inflicting upon another. I, unfortunately, have done this once, to my great shame. As you may have heard, taunted at me by Scylla on the deck of that asteroid. But typically, when one of our people does come to the end of their life, their death is welcomed. It is... They have finally been defeated by death itself, which is a enemy that no one can eventually defeat. So it is a proud, noble death to lose such a glorious battle.
An acceptance of sorts, yeah?
Indeed, what is the thrill of life if not met with the ultimate finalization of death? Think of it as... You know that I have spoken about how my people must travel the universe, fighting everyone that we can.
Yes.
We want to meet new interesting cultures and beat them up, indeed, right?
A formidable task.
Indeed, and if it were easy, if we knew for certain that we would defeat every opponent we fought, what would be the nobility in this challenge? It would be boring. It would grow stagnant, correct?
Yes,
so
of course.
If life never ended, would life itself not grow stagnant and boring and pointless as well?
It's as if each new culture and species that you combat with, it's you challenge, you risk life to give life further meaning, to give life a bigger purpose. to say, yes, I'm still alive for yet another day.
Yes, and I have defeated an opponent. Yes, exactly.
That's right. Huh. I wish I could remember where or what my life was like before I came aboard this ship, and it's why I worry sometimes that the things that I've forgotten are things that I can't recall for other reasons. That it's not maybe that I've forgotten, but I just should know things, but they're gone. So I am kind of feeling sometimes like I'm just sort of starting things over, like I am living again to fight another day, as you say, or to try to learn how to pilot another day, and etc.
Well, when one of our warriors sustains an injury, or loses a limb, for example, we train ourselves not to mourn the life we once lived and the life before the injury. We learn to live with who we are now and move forward with our new status quo. So, you have lost memories of who you were before, but you've also been given a gift to experience a new life in the form that you have now. So perhaps that is the way to move forward. You know you have knowledge and you have skills, but every memory you make now is yours.
Yes. I'm uniquely my own self. I am me, and I am. This is enough. This is it. Thank you, Banshee. I really appreciate you sharing that. It's giving me a lot to think about, but it's very encouraging. Pleasure.
Indeed. And I slap you on the shoulder very hard.
Great. I you have a little pep in my step, and I prance away to find something to repair. Thanks.
You have, as you finish up this a very touching moment, the ship is now just caught in this dwarf planet's orbit. The beacon has done its job. It has brought you where it crashed, where it was set off from, essentially. You will have to go planet-side to find what you were looking for. But in the meantime, you can take the ship down. You don't have a dinghy anymore, so unless you want to craft one real fast, it sounds like you might need to do a water landing.
I think we should. We're against the clock right now, so bringing it in seems like the optimal idea.
Landing is also probably good because the ship is broken.
That too.
And if we left the ship, we wouldn't get back, because we don't have a way to get back if we jumped off the ship.
Landing it is. Easily done. The ship is a whale, so the narwhal can find a small body of water. You land. You can find it's very piratey. A safe little cove. As you coast down to it, there are flickers of light. As you coast down, you could see other ships and exiting jump, or just coasting and catching into the orbit. The planet itself, it's a dwarf planet. I hesitate to even say that. It's probably, if you've read The Little Prince, and The Little Prince describes that he can sit on a chair and scoot forward to keep watching the sunset. It's roughly that size. It's quite tiny.
Like throw a ball, turn around and catch it.
Yeah, not quite that, but it is quite small.
It's like one of those Star Wars planets that's all one biome, and It's living its best Star Wars Kingdom Hearts life, where you look and it's just one little island. But yes, so yes, you can make a quick water landing. And the narwhal seems to sigh almost as it gets its belly into the water and leans its head on the on some rocks as it nestles in for a little bit. I pull my staff out. All right, let's do some fighting.
You only live once, isn't that right, everyone? Let's see what it's all about here.
When you say you only live once, I turn to the other two and go, I taught them that.
And I proudly start to saunter off the ship.
I hit my hand against like one of the walls for a little compartment to come out, and it's basically the equivalent of blue cheese, a little snack for me to take as we go.
You see, Nepter is following, but there's a little less. They're probably actually in the back when usually they'd be like sort of sprinting forward a little bit to see things. They're sort of like hanging in the back a bit, and they sort of have I have I have a bag sort of across my shoulder of like it's my to-go bag. This is why, oh, we're doing things, we're scavenging today. So I have my bag of stuff. But I'm just like walking a little bit slower than usual. Who knows? I mean, maybe just, I have a lot of thoughts.
You are able to disembark from the ship. As you do so, it is sunny and warm here on this little dwarf planet. The sand underneath your feet is the same iridescent as the other asteroids are, which must be what was messing with your nav. But there's jungle ahead of you. It's peak desert island. Jungle ahead of you. Beautiful water, sparkling water around you, and you can hear other ships starting to land as everyone is now choosing. Some folk, this is yards and yards, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yards away, as people all find their own place to kind of set their ships. And some folk have tried to bring navs down with them. Some folk are just charging into the underbrush, just gung ho, hoping they'll find something. What are you gonna do now? The beacons brought you here.
Unless I'm stopped, I'm full speed ahead. Like I am feeling. I think like I'm nervous because I think that like we've lost time somehow, even though we haven't. So like I'm anxious about it. So I'm like moving forward, trying to like fight down that sense of anxiety.
When you say that, do you mean like you're literally just going straight ahead in the first direction that you were pointed in?
I think so. Unless someone stops me and tells me to go a different direction. Like I mean, like heading where it seems like everybody else is heading, but yeah.
Okay. No, I wasn't sure if you meant like, oh, people are going this way, maybe we should go that way, or like you got on the ground and just like, okay, that's straight ahead.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think a local will grab you and just be like, do you know where you're going?
Where the people are going.
And the people that we see, like, are they all headed in the same ish direction, or like forward, but people are spreading out and doing
the folk that you can see descending, and from your vantage point, it's really like 2 or 3 landing parties. Are a lot of them are just headed into the forest. It is a planet, so there are some you can guess are probably landing on other parts of the planet. It is a little bit of a crapshoot as to which way you go from here. The space is small enough to traverse, so if you did end up on the wrong side, you could probably get the right way, but you do need to figure out which side is right.
Right, okay.
A lot of folks seem to think that jungle means mystery means stuff.
Right. Which makes sense to me. Anyone have any, thoughts about which way to go, or follow Banshee?
Well, I say yes, let's follow Banshee. She's very fearlessly confident, so she certainly has got to have the best sense of where the action is, but I'm wondering if we could access some element of telecommunications on this planet to figure out exactly where this beacon is coming from precisely. If I was able to, I don't know, access something on this locally on this planet to try to maybe figure out where precisely the signal is coming from, we might be able to track this a little bit better. And I'm kind of looking around this tiny now completely like jam-packed little planet, or celestial body, pardon. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if there's like some place that's like a, I don't know, like a almost like a port, a check-in. I don't know, like you know.
You might be able to jerry-rig something, or you might be able to to put something together so that you can maybe catch another signal.
I think Nepter would speak up at that. I will say, what? Oh, we could, so we could use maybe another genius idea. We use our sort of, the lucky thingy that lets us look around, our navigator, and what we're gonna do is we sort of can like maybe send out like a ping, sort of like how you would like when like if you have like a radar, and you know, I had this sort of thermal sensor that I was gonna use, and I can't now, but it broke. But we can sort of use something like that where we maybe send out like a ping using our navigation system, and maybe I could do like a hack of it where instead of it trying to pinpoint locations or names of things, we can try and pinpoint sort of the center point, or maybe the what's the word? Because words are weird. The predetermined or the estimated point of landing where the sort of ship that sent out the distress thing originally might have came from. Because, you know, sometimes a ship will be like, oh, we're going down. We're probably going to go down here. Prepare to go down around here. So maybe we could see if it sort of had something like that, and then we use that, and I'm a genius.
Wow.
Find the black box. Yeah.
Yes, brilliant. The point of origin of the black box. This is you're a real stellar savant. What kind of help do you need with that?
I got it. I can do it. I can just do it. I need like 5 minutes.
Are you using a specific move, or are you just rolling up brains for me?
I'm using a move.
Rad.
Called Beginner's Luck. When the first time I try something completely new, I roll a disadvantage. And
Right.
Nepter's talking like this is something I've done before, where this is like, oh yeah, I know how to hack a system to make it pinpoint a specific thing, and yeah, ships. I totally know ships have like a predetermined course of crashing. I don't know what I was saying.
Listen, it all holds water to me.
Yeah, it sounded good.
So you'll roll 3d6 and pick the top 2.
Got it.
Oh, and yeah, if you use Technobabble, you can add to it. Thank you, Riley.
Yeah, I go back in the ship after I'm like, I just need 5 minutes. You guys just scout the around area and make sure no one gets on the ship or whatever you guys want to do. And I will go to our navigation system, and is there like a mini system, like a mini navigation system? Like, you know, when you have like some ships have like they have like the main thing on the ship, but maybe have like a tablet or some kind that's like dedicated to like that system. Would that be a thing I could have?
Think so. I think that at some point, one of you, this seems within the realm of possibility that one of you, it didn't used to come out, but now it does.
Probably because of Olakun at some point.
I was literally just thinking that. Like,
Olakun's like, it's portable.
So I would like to use this little thing, and essentially I'm going to how am I gonna word this? I'm going to reconfigure the sort of the primary tracking system, or pinpoint system, more like. It's like the sort of same things that a sensor would use to pinpoint, like, oh, I think what I'm thinking is like a metal detector, like, also, as well as where it's like it sort of sends out almost like a signal, and it's sort of like, that's exactly a sensor I'm thinking of. I don't know why I went to metal detector, but like a sensor, and it'll sort of point out these things like, oh, this is here, here, here. Sonar. Jesus, sonar is what I'm thinking of. So yeah, I'm going to repurpose that and use my this emergency controller that originally I was going to use to make a sort of an automatic add-on to my thermal sensor that is broken. So instead, I will repurpose it to then use for this sensor, and instead of it making it like, oh, it's now it's a remote thing, the idea is it'll actually instead try to relocate past or outer remote or remote systems or like signals that have gone out, to then try and be like, oh, and like beep 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 down that way.
Perfect. Roll me 3d6 and let me know what your top two numbers are. And add a bonus for Technobabble. I think you've sufficiently explained what you were up to.
Okay, so 4 and 5 plus 1 for brains, and then plus 1 for Technobabble, so 11.
11. It does exactly what you want it to do. I'm making sure that you don't get anything else for this, but I think you get exactly you do get exactly what you want. As you carry this thing outside, it is humming and beeping, and there is somehow a pocket watch attached to it. No one knows where the pocket watch came from. Doesn't matter. And you can carry it outside, and it lets out its first pulse, like its first signal out, and it sort of rattles all of you as you're standing on the beach here, and an involuntary shiver up everyone's spine as the sensor goes out. Bernard, you said you were shedding a lot at one point?
Yeah, due to stress. In lieu of sweating.
Some of Bernard's green cat hair has somehow gotten into your device. And you smell a little bit of burning hair for a second, and then as it rattles and sends out another pulse. And as it starts to beep, you can start. It seems to have locked onto something, and you can start following that signal. Do you plan on heading out?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
I'm gonna say real quickly before I move forward, I don't want to do a scene so I'm just gonna do the Mark II conditions thing, but I'm gonna say that I saw red during that scene because both Olakun and Bernard kind of doubted my intelligence and questioned my abilities by being like, are we really going to follow what Banshee's doing? Like that kind of thing. Like that, I think the scene was great, out of character, wonderful. In character, that felt like my seeing red. So I marked the conditions of jealous, which makes sense. And I'm bringing Reckless back now to,
Love Reckless.
So I just want to put that, I want to establish that before I move forward. Cool.
Heck
Awesome.
yeah. Thank you so much for bringing it in. Because that moment, the pulse happens, and all of a sudden everyone's following Nepter's device. You all start making your way into the jungle, and it is only a few minutes, and you're moving quickly, I assume. When Banshee, you feel it as if someone just ran past you and kind of jostled your shoulder.
I immediately swing at like whatever direction they're at.
Nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Just jungle.
Okay.
But yeah, you swear you felt it. There was a. Do you say anything? Do you tell anyone? Does anyone notice that you did this, or?
They can decide if they notice. I think that I'm feeling embarrassed that I was attacking nothing, so I don't think that I'm going to say anything out loud yet. I think I'm just going to be like, no, it's fine, nothing's there, it's whatever. I'm not scared anymore.
I feel like we would, or at least Holo-kun would notice Banshee swinging and just be like, Banshee, something wrong?
I thought I felt something.
Okay. Nothing was there?
I guess be on alert. I didn't hit anything, but I felt something.
Okay. Eyes up.
And you continue into the jungle some more. It's quiet, as there aren't any animals making any sounds because they know that there are, other creatures about. So, but eventually the sound of bugs and small things moving through the underbrush comes back, and as you go, Olokun, it happens to you too, as you're walking through, as you all make a beeline following Nepter. It's as if someone ran past you so quickly and backed you in the shoulder.
I'd immediately say, I felt it too. And look around and see if I notice anything. So I felt it. Did I see any of like the foliage moving?
You heard foliage move, but you didn't see it move. It was a little too fast.
Banshee, I think you're right. I think something else is here.
I start like making wide swaths with my staff as we're moving, like so something like tries to run by again, like I might potentially catch it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do.
And I'm my little antennas are kind of like really kind of undulating and kind of turning out, kind of scanning around, and I think I'm kind of almost like the tiny green panther that I am. I start to stalk very carefully, kind of looking through the foliage as if I'm stalking prey, trying to I guess I'm trying to logically piece together how could something be there and not there at the same time, and try to like figure out if something is hunting us. How would I hunt? I guess like if this is a move, I think this would be kind of like an access knowledge move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that reasonable?
I would let you, absolutely.
Cool. Okay.
Why don't you roll and add your brains?
Okay. Awesome. Here we go. Okay, great. That will be an 11.
All right. So you said that your antenna are going, and you've gone full cat. Do you have whiskers?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
They're twitching and everything.
Yeah. There's something you've been almost you've been chasing this weird like feeling of deja vu almost since you saw this planet.
Yeah.
And you start to feel it in your whiskers and in your antenna. It feels so familiar, and yet you cannot conjure where you would have seen this before, or like any memory of this place. And then you start to hear it. A very familiar voice, but it has this Doppler effect, as if someone is coming very close and leaving, and coming very close and leaving, and moving away from you. But it's a very familiar voice, and it's repeating the beacon sound, the beacon message. We're going down. Is anyone here? If anyone can hear us, this is where we're the Amarillo is landing. Like we can't. We're going down. Yeah, that's what you're hearing, kind of, as like. Not so much hearing, but like the vibrations are hitting your antenna. And if you ever used like those bone conducting headphones, it's much more like that.
Oh, interesting. And so I'm just hearing this message kind of in this interesting, like, echoing reverberation that comes back and forth.
Yeah, and it's not constant. It seems like someone has sent that message. And as you all continue moving forward, Bernard, you can keep hearing it. You hear people talking. Some of it is the normal, some of it is this distress signal, but some of it is like, well, what do we do now? I can't tell what's happening. Something's wrong. People are having conversations. It sounds like people people who sound familiar but you don't recognize.
But those bits of conversation, do they feel like they're being produced like by people live, or does this feel like I'm like tuning into a frequency on the radio and like something's coming through?
It is closer to it's closer to something tuning in on the radio.
Yeah, I'm going to use that information and share it with the group and say, something tells me that there's more to this beacon. I don't know if my intuition says this may be a trap or a diversion, but there is something we ought to be on the lookout that isn't quite just a message from a box. And I don't know if that's like a misleading thing, but I'm gonna give that warning, and that'll allow the next person to act on my suggestion up to add a +1 to their roll. Just the next person.
As you say, this isn't quite just a message from a box. All of you hear the thump, 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 thump of someone running, and then the whoosh of air past you all.
I fall. I fully trip and like land on my butt.
Actually, Nepter, do you want to roll for me a body? I just want to see something. There will be no physical, because I'm asking you specific, and you've offered the fall. There will be no physical consequences, really, unless you do really poorly.
Uh-oh.
Folks are saying.
Oh no.
Okay, well, why don't you mark a condition?
Okay.
Dang. As you, this whatever it is runs past you, and it moves at a speed that just sends Nepter on their butt, and it is unfortunately on a hillside, and Nepter goes scrabbling down the hill. Olokun, your planet before you took to the stars, what kind of environment did you come from?
I feel like it would be both mountainous and swampy. I'm kind of thinking like whatever that planet is that Yoda was on.
Dagobah.
Like it would be like that, but like with that environment on mountains.
Okay. So I would say that you're a pretty rough and tumble guy. Like you've probably seen a lot of like outdoors. Roll for me a brains, but again, unless you do super terribly, I don't think that you're going to. I say that, and now I'm like scared.
No, you're fine. 12.
12. You actually recognize this moment. Nepter has gone ass over tea kettle down a slope, and as you are all, I assume, following her down, the Olakun, you can kind of tell the foliage and all of that stuff that's here is not clear because it naturally avoided it. Something has torn its way through.
Okay.
Maybe a large ship.
Okay. Gotcha.
And as Nepter, you come to a stop at the bottom of this hill. At the bottom of this hill, you can now hear what Bernard has been hearing, which is snippets of conversation, as if you were just tuning through a radio too quickly.
I think when everybody catches up to me, I think you'll see Neptune still on the ground, and they're like covering their ears a little bit, and they're like hiding their face so that no one else can see them, as their like head is like their face is like to the ground, because and they're like covering their ears, and I say like oh, there's a ghost coming to get me. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh, it's wow. No, calm down. Stop it. Stop. Calm down.
Banshee and Olakun, as you also, I assume you're following.
Yeah.
As you get closer, you can start hearing it too.
And this was the way Nepter fell the way that it seems like a ship tore through, like that was the direction.
Yeah, basically the ground was torn up in a way which Nepter, when they tripped, was able to basically follow the path that the ship had already put out for them naturally.
Okay, so I think like once we're there and I see Nepter on the ground, I put my hand on their shoulder, and in a very poor way of trying to comfort somebody, be like, think you're on the right track, kid. And that's it. Like, no, like very bad paternal instincts. So that's as much as you're gonna get.
And for what it's worth, Nepter, your sensor is saying you're super in the right direction.
I'm gonna just real quickly investigate Nepter as best I can, if they'll let me, just to make sure they're not injured, because that's like I think my medical background is gonna kick back in, like my battle medic. Should I make a medic check?
I would love you to make a medic check.
Yeah, so. Ooh, okay, so I got a 10, because I got 8 plus 1 plus 1. Okay.
Bumped and bruised for sure. You have seen this happens sometimes amongst other Seelie when they are confronted. First of all, bumps and bruises, totally common. Nepter sitting with their head. I'm assuming you're distressed by the all of this. That is a little more severe, and something that you've probably seen before in other Seelie, where they're just overwhelmed. Like an anxiety attack or something.
I will put my arm on their shoulder, similar that I did to Bernard earlier, and I just start to breathe, like breathe in, breathe out, like slow breaths, and then I say, the danger is not real. Your body is telling you it is. The danger is not real. You will face it stronger if you face it on your feet. And then I just start breathing in and out, in and out. I think this is probably I'll do connect, because that gives Danny more agency to decide how Nepter responds to it versus a dice roll saying it. So I think this is how you feel about Nepter as. So I'll spend a trust to do the connect, and yeah. So I'm I'm like saying what I said. Like we all feel overwhelmed by the battle occasionally, but this is a moment to stand on your feet and breathe and face the world bravely. That I believe you can do.
That like raises a little bit, and you see there's like sort of tears in my eyes, and like, but instead of like going down my face, it almost seems like they're like floating up a little bit, like there's like little just like bits of tears that are floating upward. Just for those who know Nepter species, that's how they cry. And I look up at Banshee. I'm sort of between Banshee and Olokun, I think, because they're the closest, and I say, feels like the danger's pretty real, gang. I don't know where we are. I feel like we're sort of in the thick of it.
Yes, but you will face it better on your feet than huddling on the ground.
We are definitely in the thick of it. Nothing to do but move forward.
And I think this is messy, but I think Nectar, I almost don't take that as reassuring as I should, or as I could, more than I should, because I think in this moment, especially with what Banshee said, it goes back to the sort of connection that we have, was that Banshee doesn't treat you with the respect that you deserve, and I think Nectar sort of hears that, and I pause, and I'm like, yeah, I don't even know why. I don't even know I'm doing this. I don't even know. I'm doing a party trick. Party. Because you guys don't do this thing. Yeah, no, I'm on my feet. You don't even see it yet. That's how on my feet I am.
So we're gonna both mark experience because that is not a connection. So
Yes.
which means I level up, which is nice. Yeah.
I'm like, don't interrupt, but also mark XP.
Yeah.
So Nepter, you clamber to your feet again?
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes this narrative way, because I did mark jealousy and specifically about Nepter, so it does feel like Nepter's probably not feeling a lot of great vibes off of Banshee right now, so that makes sense a lot narratively.
You tried. It's a scary situation. You tried, and it is hard when someone like is geared towards you're already like not quite seeing eye to eye, and they try to come for you, but they say just the clumsy thing. Yeah, as you clamber to your feet, you can look down the slope that you were all traversing down, and almost hidden in and surrounded by underbrush that has started to make its way into reclaiming it. You see a ship, or at least you half see a ship, as every time you try to focus your eyes on it, parts of it seem to fade in and out quickly, like glitching in and out as you look down at it. And across the side of it, you can see the name, the Amaryllis. And that's actually where we're going to end the episode, because I like a cliffhanger. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 2 of our Starscape adventure called The Treasure of the Iris Belt. Thank you so much, players, for playing with me. Thank you so much, audience, for joining us. Let's go around the horn and tell people where they can find you, what makes you famous, etc. I'm gonna start by picking on Artem.
Hello, hi, I'm Artem. He, they. I can be found on the Instagram at Artem directly. I am a podcaster, a fan of all things TTRPG, and a theater director, and I got all my projects up there. And I have the second season of my YouTube podcast show that I'm going to be, well, it's a podcast that I'm now turning into a YouTube show called Scary Movie and a Sandwich. That's going to be coming out in September. It is a hard-hitting, topical interview show about scary movies and sandwiches. So I hope you tune in. Thanks.
I'm going to just go in, I'm going to clockwise. Riley, who are you? What makes you famous?
Hey everybody, I'm Riley Silverman, and what makes me famous is being just the most obnoxious person I possibly know. I am a writer and comedian and obviously a gamer. You probably hear me frequently on the Happy Jacks RPG Advice Show. I also played the Doctor for 3 seasons and GM'd for 2 seasons on a Doctor Who RPG podcast called The Game of Rassilon, which we ended this year, so you can actually listen to it in its entirety. It's a 5-season series, and it was very fun to do. And we actually recorded yesterday, as of when we're recording this, the very first arc for our brand new podcast. So the same cast of Game of Rassilon, we're doing our own IP now. We're using the Scum and Villainy system, and we're doing a game that we're calling Good Chaotic. And so if you go looking for Good Chaotic, right now we have social media stuff for it, so you can check that out. And we have not launched the podcast yet, because we're still recording a bunch of episodes to get kind of ahead of the game and have things in the can. And because we all know how frustrating it is, like when you're listening to a show and then it stops for like a month while they make new episodes. So that's not a slide to anybody. That's us for doing our show, because we used to do it by season. But and also many a podcast I listen to where they just stop making it halfway through it. But I bring all that to say that if you follow Good Chaotic, we will launch a Patreon at some point. We have Patreon for Game of Rassilon that will probably roll over into Good Chaotic. But yeah, you'll find out the first information when we start to launch it and we start dropping teasers and stuff like that. We're probably looking to launch it sometime this fall, so that should be around there. But yeah, we're really excited about it, and I'm playing a very different character from Banshee. I'm playing a very energetic trans cat girl. Like, it's very fun. I'm using the Scoundrel playbook, and she's just very overeager and jolty-gery. So that's that. And then last but not least, I have been writing a lot for D&D Beyond lately as we prep for all the new core rulebooks that are coming out. And so I have quite a few articles on dndbeyond.com right now that are from me about various updates that are happening to your favorite classes. And I didn't write the updates, so don't be mad at me for them, but enjoy the articles explaining the updates. Thank you.
We'll try not to shoot the messenger. Moving around the circle, Danny, who are you? What makes you famous?
Hi, it's me, Danny's Corner, and a couple things make me sort of famous. You can find me online on Twitter at Animated Pizza, or on Twitch and YouTube at Danny's Corner, where I stream stuff and I play games and I do a bunch of stuff. For other TTRPG content, you can find me, follow my Twitter, and that's when I announce when I'm in things. That's probably the best way to do it, because I myself don't know what I'm doing ever in my life. We're on this ride together, and I think that brings a sense of connection in us, of my inability to know where I am at any point in life. Thank you.
Feel that in my soul. Garrett, who are you? What makes you famous?
Hi, my name is Garrett. What makes me famous is fighting with all my crewmates. No. You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Black Riku. That's BLKRIKU. You can also follow my YouTube channel, Gare Bear Stare, where we like to look at old cartoons and video games and stuff like that. Kind of do a deep dive into them. We're coming back from a very long sabbatical because everything after 2020 or everything after 2016 was just garbage. So sometimes life gets in the way, but we're coming back, and you can find me there. You can also find me on the podcast, Vintage Anime Podcast. That's where we like to look at old anime and do a deep dive into that. You can find that podcast anywhere you can basically find podcasts, I think except for Spotify, but we're looking to fix that. But yeah, you can find me on those places.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I am Clara. I was the GM of this game. So I was everybody else and the world. You can find me all over the internet as clearly_golden, unless you're into mermaids, in which case you can find me over on Instagram as mermaid_clarity. I don't always post there, so Clearly Golden has a lot of my current stuff. If you're excited about this game, you can always type in _game in the chat or check the show notes later, so you can support Starscape on Kickstarter. And even if the Kickstarter is passed, you could still usually donate or support in other ways. And if you want to catch episode 3 of our last episode of this game, you can find us here, same bat time, same bat channel, except 2 hours earlier. So we hope to see you soon. Bye.